17th, 1922, in Illinois, and grew up in California. Betty and her parents enjoyed hiking, nature, and animals. She was an only child, but she got to be a sister to lots of cats and dogs. Betty always felt surrounded by love, and she has spent her long and remarkable life giving that love back to family and friends, to audiences, and to animals in need. When she was young, Betty wanted to be a forest ranger or a zookeeper, but those careers weren't open to girls at that time. Luckily, Betty had other passions. She loved to write, sing, and perform in plays. Early on, she set her heart on being an actress. Betty graduated from high school in 1939. 2 years later, America entered World War II. Betty wanted to help in any way she could, so she volunteered to drive a truck carrying supplies to soldiers stationed in California. After the war, Betty set out to follow her dreams. She knew getting into show business wouldn't be easy, but she was ready for anything. Betty was bright, talented, and beautiful, and funny, but she had to work hard to find jobs. She acted in local theaters and got small roles in radio commercials. Betty wanted to be on television. Back then, there were far fewer TV shows, TV stations, and TV jobs than there are today. But Betty's hard work paid off. In 1949, she got her first full-time job as the host's helper on a daytime show called Hollywood on Television. Later, she became the host herself. Today, most television actors memorize lines from a script someone else has written. Not Betty. She had to think on her feet or wing it in front of a live studio audience. And there were no breaks because Betty and the other actors performed in the commercials too. That meant that Betty was in front of the camera 5.5 hours a day, 6 days a week. Could she do it? You bet she could. Betty learned a lot and loved every minute, and viewers adored her from the start. Television grew and changed quickly, and so did Betty. She became one of the first female producers in Hollywood when she co-founded Bandy Productions, named after one of her dogs. On Betty's first show, she had interviewed movie stars. Now Betty and her business partners decided to make a situation comedy or a sitcom about made-up characters. It was called Life with Elizabeth. At this time, Betty was the star. Betty has always believed in being fair to all people. In 1954, when she hosted a variety show with skits and musical guests, TV stations in some parts of the country didn't want to air it. They didn't like that a black dancer, Arthur Duncan, was in the cast. They wanted Betty to fire him. That kind of prejudice made Betty mad. Arthur stayed on the show and had a long, successful career, and Betty and Arthur remained friends through the years. As a girl, Betty had enjoyed playing games with her mom and dad, and beginning in the 1950s, she became a popular guest on television game shows. Betty's quick wit charmed everyone, including one special man, Alan Ludden, the host of a show called Password. Alan and Betty fell in love. They married in 1963, and Betty became stepmom to his 3 children. Betty and Alan lived happily together until Alan died in 1981. Alan has always remained in Betty's heart. Life wasn't easy for her after his death, but staying busy helped her cope. Betty likes new challenges and taking on different roles. She studies, prepares, and works hard. That's one reason she's one of the most successful television stars in history. Betty is especially known for acting in 2 popular long-running TV shows, The Mary Tyler Moore Show and The Golden Girls. She won Emmy Awards for both shows. Betty has been honored many times. In 1995, she was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. Was Betty ready to stop working then? No way. She wrote books about her life and kept acting in movies and on television. just as famous as she.